Well, Savage Patriots are back at it for the new year. Happy New Year,
Mm.
everybody. It's Jan 1st, not like
Yep.
Jan 6th. It's Jan
Not
1st.
yet.
And so we are about to have a conversation about this list that's supposed to have been dumped. And I told people, watch, they ain't gonna try and dump it on the first day.
Hmm.
What they do, they made sure not to dump it. People are trying to scramble to hide their names, is all they're really doing. Um,
Yeah.
Yep.
They don't want nobody knowing they're on there. So I can't really blame them when they're trying to save their hide and their money. So they got
You,
to
kn-
do what they
you,
got to do.
you know, the thing is if they didn't do anything wrong on this island, why are they so scared that these names are going to be dropped? Because if you weren't scared, if you was like, I didn't do anything, they can say my name. I'm not worried about it.
Wasn't that
But they know.
Beyonce? Say my name. Say my name.
Yeah, and they know what they were doing over there. They know what this list entails, and they know once they
Mhm.
catch one, everybody's coming with them, and they know this.
Big old domino.
Yep.
So
Don't be
so don't
surprised.
run yet. Don't run yet, people. We do have at least one person that has been at least so far, they say, identified as John Doe 26. And we'll
Hmm.
talk specifically about him here in a minute. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Oof.
John Doe 26. Let's start
36.
there. Let's start there. Anybody know who that is?
Hmm.
Are we talking about 26 or 36?
36.
36.
36.
Yes,
Yeah.
John Doe 36.
That's a
He did
let me
not. He did not have something
sexual
relations with somebody.
yeah, he didn't have
Something like that.
relations with
A
someone,
certain
did he?
What?
somebody.
What
Yeah.
sexual relations hasn't he had? Is
Oh
the better
yeah,
question.
yeah.
Yeah.
Can you
Nobody-
He's
define
married to
sexual relations?
yeah, he's
What does that
married to
mean?
he's married to what's her name? Didn't she try to run for president twice and failed?
Yeah, I believe she
Yeah.
played on Teeth as well.
Oh yeah.
Isn't there like a euphemism that relates to her name too? Like you've been, what was it? You've been
Clinton. Clinton.
Hillary.
Hillary.
Yeah,
Hillary.
Clinton.
Yeah.
Clinton.
Hillary.
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 Yeah.
Well, let
was
me
my joke
introduce
too
you guys
obscure?
to him. I want to introduce everybody to John Doe 36.
Yes.
Yeah.
There he is. There he is.
That
Now the
painting,
question
dude.
is like people have to understand that this is a real photo. And you have to ask yourself why. Why would Epstein have this photo of Bill Clinton hanging
In his house.
in his house on his island?
Either they were really good friends or he was a bottom B.
Mm.
And we keep saying, don't be a bottom B now.
That's
he's
true.
a bottom B. That's what he was.
Is that shirt still in our merch
Because
store?
like that's a power move, right? If you really think about it, that is the biggest power move you could have. Is that you have so much dirt on the president of the United States or a former president of the United States that you literally have a painting in your house where he frequently visits of him in a dress.
Now the next question
that is gangster as you could get. Like it's a power move. It has to be.
Now the next question is why would he allow him to paint a picture of him in a dress with red heels on in his house? Why?
I don't think
Because
he
he's
like posed for that. I think somebody else did. But still,
I
the
think he
point that
posed
he
for it.
has,
I think he posed.
I think he
It's
posed
crazy.
for it.
Yeah, I believe he did.
And I believe that the red shoes are intentional as well.
Yes,
yeah, for sure.
Very intentional.
why red?
Is it a Epstein fetish? You
No.
women
No,
like
I mean
to
if
do
he had
that?
a fetish like that, maybe it would be like toes or something like
The
that.
red
like
shoes
red
goes
shoes.
back to a ritual thing that
Oh,
includes
okay.
the life source that's in your body
Yeah.
and the stomping
that
of
aspect,
it
yeah.
on your
Mhm.
feet.
Ah,
Yes,
Yeah.
that's what the red shoes are about. I mean, I can't say much more about it because YouTube gonna be like, "Hey, what's wrong with you, boy?"
Mm.
Yeah,
But if you want to know, that's what it's about, and
Mhm.
of course, it does include the younger generation.
Mhm.
So
which is what Epstein's Island is
All about.
specifically known for.
yeah, and it's just funny that the bride has the same dress. So he's been
Mm.
wearing her clothes on Epstein Island.
Yep.
Hey,
That's some
Hillary,
weird stuff.
I need your blue dress. Can I borrow it,
Can I
please?
borrow real quick?
Can I borrow the dress?
We're the same size.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I think they
That's
are.
some weird stuff. But he's not the first one.
I don't want to think about that too long. That's
Don't put that on me, Ricky Bubba.
wow.
I mean, the red shoes thing, like Marlon said, it is a ritualistic thing. And if you look at a lot of photos of when all these elites get together, especially like Bilderberg and all this other stuff, a lot of them have on these red shoes, and it's not by chance. It's
Mm-hmm.
there's a reason behind, like Marlon stated, there's a reason behind the red shoes, and they're throwing it right in our face. And we always talk about they're mocking us. They're just showing us right there. You know, hey, you're not going to do nothing about it. What are you going to do about it, peasants? Oh, we're
Right
going to
here.
do something. We are going to
like
do
this.
something. Yes.
Yep.
There you go.
See?
Wasn't he the first pope to resign?
That one was, I think so. Was it? That was a German one. Is that what?
Yeah, that was the first one. He was the first one to resign. Why did he resign? You know, that's ask yourself that.
Because he was running out of
That stuff.
time. Yeah, out of time. He had an appointment that he couldn't keep at all. You know how that goes, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. You know, it's just like we've been talking about this list, or we've been talking about Epstein and this list of individuals that flew to his island. And the minute they talked about this list coming out on January 1st, we knew that they weren't going to release the list.
Yeah.
Mhm.
They're going to find everything within their power to keep those names from coming out. And that's what they're doing.
Well, they've done a good job of it.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the things you're going to end up seeing may end up coming to, and this is what I think you'll see them come out. You'll see the one say, well, my name's on there. The island was not what you say it was. Jeffrey only did that stuff on he was there, not when everybody else was.
Mm-hmm.
They'll spin it somehow. They'll spin it to make it match what they need to match.
Oh yeah, and they'll always spin it to tie it back to Donald Trump. It's already billowing and brewing in social media that Donald Trump was on that island with Epstein, and they always show this picture, this Photoshop picture of him and Epstein sitting on a couch, but Epstein has no legs. And somebody posted it on Twitter, and they got eaten alive with that photo. And then finally, X came out and fact checked it with other people. They fact checked the photo saying it was Photoshop. So they're always going to try to find a way, no matter who's on it, no matter what president, no matter what. The only person they're gonna hone in on is Donald Trump, and they're gonna say Donald Trump was there, but he wasn't.
They're still doing that to this day. Like I saw on Twitter, Brian Krasenstein is literally, accusing Trump using a 30-year-old video or something like that of Trump and what's his face, Epstein, mingling together at a party.
In Mar-a-Lago.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure Trump had him banned from Mar-a-Lago once he started to figure out who Epstein was.
Yep.
Now, the only thing you can go back and say about Trump is, if you knew, how come you never said anything? That's the only thing they could probably come out and say. How come you never said anything about it?
Not only that, if he was there, trust and believe me, the media would have had a field day showing that information.
Oh yeah.
They would have no problem releasing at least his name in a heartbeat. You can't lie to me and tell me they wouldn't have done that. That would have been the first thing they would do. The very first.
Oh yeah. If they actually had anything that could tie him to Epstein, like legitimately, that would be the thing we'd be talking about. Not like this all hellacious, like, oh, he's an insurrectionist, he shouldn't be running for office because of the 14th Amendment. No, instead they say we should lock him up because of sex crimes, because that would be the golden goose for them. Like, honestly, if they legitimately had anything connecting him to Epstein, that's what it would be. But there's too many people that are touched by Epstein for that to actually work. That's the problem.
And they can't afford this. They really can't afford this. This may end up being one of the biggest dumps of names, but I think it'll also be the biggest cover up you'll ever see done by both media and the people that be. And I wouldn't be surprised if the bigger names that can actually have an effect on government will be the ones retracted.
Yep.
I
found a fun picture for you.
And I believe that, but I also believe that if this list does come out and if these people are exposed, this will be the destruction of the mainstream media as we know it. Because now, like we always say, when the truth starts coming out, people start questioning, the mainstream media, which a lot of people don't do. They just take everything they say for face value.
Mm-hmm.
So how friendly do you have to be to get invited to the former president's daughter's wedding?
Just a little bit.
Is that Ghislaine?
Yeah.
That's Ghislaine.
Look who's over there.
Right there. Yeah. Right there in the background, smiling and grinning.
The person who was convicted of trafficking children to nobody. To not a single person in the entire world. Right? Because that list is never going to come out because she was convicted of something, but nobody knows who the people she sold them to were or where they are or who they are. That's interesting. It's interesting to me anyway.
That's a fair point.
Yeah. It's like she was convicted, but we'll never know who that was. We'll never know.
Let's see if I can find it. I just found this picture here. Hang on. Let's do it. I'm going to bring this up. I just got it, Lee. Just got it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. Where is it? Boom. Okay. Let's expand. Let's make sure it's not muted.
This was before Trump found out about his Epstein's abuse.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's it.
Do they look friendly?
They just look like two
That's
business
not very
guys.
friendly, is it?
Yeah, they're just two business guys. That's what it looks like to me. They're not chummed up, having shot.
I don't like this guy. Get him out of my face. He keeps following me around, man.
You know what that particular frame reminds me of? When Trudeau was trying to get the attention of Trump during one of the World Summits.
Yeah.
Like, Daddy, look at me, and Trump's like, no.
Yeah.
What's interesting about this when it comes to Bill Clinton, friend Doe 36, is that he's specifically named in this lawsuit. That's the reason why they're releasing the documents, is because the civil case was settled, and he was named in that. She pointed to him and said, "I met him on Epstein's Island. We have an actual witness and victim who puts Bill Clinton at the island, not once, but multiple times."
36, I heard right.
Yeah.
Hang on here. Because if I remember correctly, he was one of the only ones to speak out against Jeffrey the first time he was arrested. Trump was. And he was one of the only ones to actually be in court denouncing and calling him out in court records. So I don't know exactly what they're attempting to make of that particular interaction they had there. But as you can see, the one behind Jeffrey was more in, I would say, more friendly with Trump than Epstein was.
Yeah.
Regardless. So I don't know what exactly they thought that would do. But I don't see them showing Andrew, Prince Andrew. And we have tons of video of him talking to, even in his house in New York. We have Andrew leaving his home multiple times while Epstein was on house arrest. You don't see them showing that video.
Yep.
You have video and conversations that happen between people like Naomi Campbell and Epstein. You don't hear them putting that out there.
Nope.
So, I mean, I know her name's going to be on there because she has actually said that she's been there.
Yeah. So, and there was a list going around, and, who knows how valid that list is, but it's pretty believable because a lot of these big stars' names were on that list. And if you look at Hollywood right now, there's so many celebrities, say that lightly, that are just kind of disappearing, falling off, retiring. You're not seeing them anymore. They don't want to do movies anymore. They're moving to other countries.
Yep.
You know, all of a sudden, the minute this list
Tom
really
Hanks.
started gaining traction, they started disappearing. Shows getting canceled. Ellen DeGeneres show got canceled. I mean, look at everything that's been canceled, and she's been named on that list.
There's a lot of people that have got really involved with Epstein, and that's kind of the issue here, is because that's the main reason why Epstein ended up dead in prison. How he ended up dead, nobody knows. We'll never know. Whether you believe he self-deleted, let's put it that way, or he was deleted, we will never know, because
we know. We
because,
do know.
No, because we were told by the establishment media that he self-deleted, right? He self-deleted, and that's all there is. It doesn't matter the fact that the guards fell asleep. It doesn't matter the fact that all the cameras were broken. He self-deleted, okay? Believe the story. That's what we're telling you happened.
You could take our word for it. We know exactly what we're talking about.
Exactly.
Yes.
So
we were there. We saw it with our own eyes.
There's also the other thing with Bill Gates. I actually have a story from The Hill that was talking about that this morning that I watched, and how insane the bankers were too, working with Epstein as well.
Investigative journalist Li Fang wrote yesterday, Epstein sent many rambling emails suggesting projects with Bill Gates. Asked to prep presentations for new Gates-backed foundation, $100 million minimum investment, expanding on exchanging prior Gates-related interests like vaccines and maternal care. In one of those emails from February 25th, 2011, Epstein reportedly wrote, Gates guy here today. No reporters. I took care of that. Stay calm and focused. We need to speak. I am staying until very late tonight. Seeing Gates read donor on Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Wednesday set aside for 2-3 hours to discuss exactly this.
The fact that he was involved in trying to get projects with Bill Gates on vaccines is weird.
Not really.
It's believable.
Not really.
It's weird.
Now here's a flip side too that you may or may not be thinking along these lines, but I don't think he was just trying to communicate with Bill about the V of any kind. I think he was more so about trying to help relegate and take down as many venereal diseases he might be transmitting to people.
Yeah.
If you can keep that under wraps while doing what you're doing, it's less likely that you'll be brought to a tribunal for not just crimes like that, but for willingly and purposefully infecting people. I could see easily that being the case, where you have someone like Bill in your back pocket, and he has the ear of people who have big doctors that can help you get rid of those things.
Yeah.
That's a
because wasn't it a rumor going around at one point that Bill was like HIV positive or something?
Oh,
when he came out looking really gaunt at one point, and he started looking like deathly ill, and that's where they start talking about well, maybe he has something,
that would make sense.
You know, and all of a sudden he's back again, you know, looking normal now. Didn't
he and Fauci hook up to do a lot of HIV research in Africa?
Yes,
on each other.
Yep.
Okay, I was gonna go that far, but it makes sense if he was involved, and then he was also helping funding that as well, and getting involved in that research.
Cycles upon cycles, man.
Yeah, the whole Clinton Foundation. That was their thing, you know, the HIV, and you know, when you go all the way back, if you think about 1980s when they did We Are the World and all that HIV stuff in Africa, all this ties into what we're talking about now.
Yeah.
All of it. Everything was just a cover. They created HIV. They started a pandemic on it. They set it up in other countries saying that's where it freaking was based out of, or that's how it started, whatever. And then they went in as the saviors, and a lot of this stuff started going on. It's all tied together, man. All of it.
Well, look, I have no doubt that particular person's on there, Kathy. No doubt.
Oh, yeah.
I think you'll see more big names than we even remotely can even think about. And trust me, there'll be plenty of us who have, and look, there's still some actors I like. I haven't found any dirt on them, but I have no doubt my bubble is going to get popped.
Oh yeah.
With a lot of these, so-called good guys, they're probably on that list, and I have to be prepped for that too, because you can't trust nobody no more.
Mm-hmm. Nope.
You
But
can't trust nobody.
At the end of the day, man, they can show you the list, they can show you the names, they can have hard proof evidence, and there's still people out there that won't buy into it. They still won't believe it. They'll still tune into these shows. They'll still pay all these people money by buying their clothes, buying their albums, buying their movies, doing all this stuff, no matter how evil they are. And this is why when you look at those people, those are the same people that will virtue signal about every societal issue in America except for something like this.
Yeah.
Because in the world take, you think.
There's also another example that came out. Remember how Epstein was doing a lot of the work for, like, with the big banks? Like, he was able to launder this money with these banks, and nobody called him out for it, and was even protected by certain groups. This is how they talked about Epstein.
Mary Erdoes at jpmorgan.com official email to an unknown person saying, obviously they're at a party. This is, really late at night. The first email is about 8:30. This has turned into a cheesy broker fest. Totally not cool. The only cool people here are at Glenn's table, same as bat mitzvah. So maybe they've known each other for some time. The response is at 1:20 a.m. Epstein there with Miley Cyrus. And so this is like official JP Morgan emails where this exchange is happening. Was Epstein actually there with Miley Cyrus? We don't know. But the fact that they made the joke shows that these bankers on their JP Morgan emails are comfortable joking about the billionaire being out with young girls.
They were comfortable joking about a lot of really sketchy stuff. We've read these emails in the past talking about who's your favorite, like, Disney princess. It suggests, again, a deep familiarity with the kind of bad and illegal stuff that Jeffrey Epstein was interested in and had already been convicted for, would eventually be arrested for again. Yet right up until the very end, I've talked about this several times, but I think it's always worth bringing up, including given her recent crusade, the higher media profile she has sought for herself as part of the pushback from Democrats on Twitter files and on RFK Jr. Stacey Plaskett, the delegate of the Virgin Islands, has been front and center at these hearings, accusing Matt Taibbi of perjury, accusing RFK Jr. of anti-Semitism. Stacey Plaskett, delegate of the Virgin Islands, trying to get Jeffrey Epstein at her fundraisers as recently as 2018, I believe, the year before he was arrested again and then died in allegedly because of suicide in prison. This was someone with full knowledge and awareness of his wrongdoing, was courting his influence, his access to funds and to important wealthy people.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Like you said, is these people are their values only go so far as how much money you can give me.
It's kind of interesting that it's always these particular types of people. I'm not going to say necessarily it's all the ones with a D next to the name, because trust me, we know that there are tons with R next to the name that do the same thing. But they all seem to have this fascination with this particular topic when it comes to kids. Okay, you just can't seem to avoid seeing them in every turn. They either don't want a bill passed for it, they don't want to have things listed, they don't want people to be told, all kinds of crazy problems that they seem to bring up when that's the topic that we're trying to clarify.
Yeah.
So I shy away from calling them certain things, at least here. Maybe on our Rumble we'll do that. But if you associate with a certain type of people on a consistent basis, I have to start thinking that maybe, just maybe, you have the same affinities that they do.
Yeah.
You defend them at every turn. You kind of act like them. You don't want to talk about them. You don't want them investigated. I'm going to start thinking that somehow either you have something about them, or you are with them on something, or you're just the same. and you're not been caught yet. Just not been caught yet. But we'll see. We'll see if that comes up. I don't know that the names are going to pop in yet, but we'll see.
Well, can you imagine? Just imagine if the list drops, when it drops, if it drops, and the names are legit, and everything that they talk about is real. We're only looking at like the surface level of this, because again, people start getting caught. People start talking. This is going like so dang high from, the establishment way up top to media moguls to Hollywood to music to all the way down to like local level politicians. There's going to be a lot of freaking people that are going to go down for that. So we got to understand what this will do to the whole system, which I agree with. It'll crumble the whole system, from the financial system to the media system to the political system to everything will crumble.
Yep.
Great reset.
Great reset. No, I think it's also one of the reasons why they took Epstein out in the first place is the fact that it touched too many people. He was the one person that couldn't be left alone. Like, that's what it really came down to, I think, is that even now, almost 4 years later, since he self-deleted or was deleted, we're still talking about it. Right? Mm-hmm. We're still talking about the people on the list. We're still talking about all the things that are out there for us. And so it's insane to me to think that these people don't know what's coming. And they're trying to hide away from it.
They know.
Well, and they do know, like Marlon said, they know what's going on. They know what's coming. But if you think about what a lot of these rich people are doing, there's all these millionaires, billionaires out here building all these bunkers. They're doing all this stuff. They're looking for an escape right now because they know exactly what's going to come. When the people that really figure them out, they're going to hide. They're going to go into these bunkers. They're going to be hunted down. It's going to happen. So they're preparing themselves right now to escape, which we know they're not going to escape.
Wait, you don't think they're building these bunkers to avoid a cataclysmic event?
Well, a cataclysmic event, this could lead up to that event, because I think if a cataclysmic event happened, it's man-made. Man did that.
Right.
And these people are willing to destroy and burn the whole country to protect themselves. Yeah. Yep. So that cataclysmic event could be, this list comes out, people start fighting, people start calling them out, they're scared. Hey, we need something to get the heat off of us. Boom, cataclysmic event. They run inside their bunkers. They come out when the smoke clears as the saviors of the world. Yeah. So it's all tied into each other, man.
It's only the first day of 2024. It's literally the first day of 2024, and we're starting it off with Epstein list.
With truth.
That's all. We are in an election year for the president of the United States as well.
No, we're
not. I haven't gotten there yet. Let me finish. First, I want to let you finish. Okay, so we're in an election year, supposedly, for the president of the United States. We have multiple wars. We have North Korea saying there is no reconciliation with the South. Right? And that war is inevitable. They have been selling stuff to Russia. Kim Jong-un went to Russia and met Putin, who is at war with Ukraine still, who's winning, by the way. We're not gonna sugarcoat that. Everybody's admitting that he's winning, right? And China still wants Taiwan, and we also have the Gaza and Israel war happening. If you think this year isn't gonna be rough, think again, ladies and gentlemen. We're just getting started.
Yeah,
quite literally.
You know how I stand. I can care less about them other countries. They can blow each other, do whatever they have to do over there. I want the damn list. I'm not going to take my eyes off of that. Because it needs to start with the people in charge. We don't control China. We don't control North Korea, no matter how much they try to say we do. Those countries are going to do what they want to do. That's not our problem. Our problem is identifying the corruption, identifying the sick people, and getting them removed from having any type of control within our own country. Then we can get people in there, hopefully, that actually care about our country and our country only, and we can start fixing the issues we have.
Yep.
But it's definitely fun to think about if and when the list drops, like how much of the cultural superstructure will crumble. Like there goes Hollywood for the most part.
Maybe.
Hollywood's already dead. I don't know.
I mean, that's true, but like even more so now, the stain of of degeneracy that Hollywood is known for is going to be exposed. You have the financial infrastructure is going to be, on the verge of teetering, with all these big name moguls and all these other list people. You got sports is going to be going, because I'm not even going to deny that there's going to be athletes on that list. And obviously our political structure.
I also forgot to mention Civil War. Yeah, that's also on the horizon
I got,
as well. So
I got a different take on all of this now that I'm thinking about something here.
And my point earlier was the fact that, do you think these people wouldn't start World War III just to gloss over the fact that they're just dirty, disgusting degenerates?
I think they'll start World War III regardless.
Yeah.
Okay, but hear me out. I don't think they're too concerned about them being looked at as degenerates. Because if you look if you look at what laws they're trying to pass regarding children, they're slowly but surely making it normal to view children a very specific way.
Oh, yeah.
And if they can make it before this drops, that people are just going to look at it like, oh, they just have a preference, they will not nearly lose the kind of clout we think they're going to lose. It might be that they will actually get more clout from it because of the type of people that will back them. I'm not saying the majority, I'm saying the type of people. We are the majority. The people that think level-headed are the majority. Let's just be honest about this. In the world, there are more people that think clean and pure than they do degenerate and disgusting.
Very true.
But the loud ones are the ones that are the ones heard. And they have all the money and they have all the influence. So even if a name or two or 10 or 20 or 100 or 200 names get named, I don't think any of this is really going to affect what they're doing, nor is it going to make them look criminal. They'll end up passing some way, somehow, for it to be normal for it to happen. They just had a preference, or they were experimenting, and none of the kids that went through this will be fine. They'll all be good. Don't worry about them. We're taking care of it, and we'll continue in the bottom. It'll just keep going on. No one will get punished, even if so if they drop the names, what happened to those people? They were still in the court case, right? They are given the chance to not make their names be mentioned. Let that soak in for a minute. These people were mentioned in a situation that was abusive to children, and they are given the opportunity to not get their names be known.
Yeah.
And what do we talk about?
That's the extent they're going to. You think they're just going to, when they come out, everyone's just going to be like, let's hang them all? No, people are going to be like, well, you got to understand that people did things in their past, and this is what they were probably.
There's context.
Yeah, there's context. Just watch.
And we've talked about it many, many times in a Savage Patriots about the two-tier justice system.
Yeah.
Now, if that was any of us on this panel that came up on some type of list dealing with children, we'd be plastered over on all mainstream media, our face, our name, where we're from, where we work, who we're tied to, who our friends are. They would destroy us. But since these people are so-called a protected class, they're allowed, as Marlon stated, to remove themselves using their lawyers, using law to remove themselves from that list. Not because they're saying they didn't do it. It's more because they're worried about the ramifications from people finding out that they're on that list for their safety. That's what they'll say. For their safety.
Good point. Good point. Yeah.
But let it be me. Let it be Jay. Let it be Marlon. Let it be Coy. You're done. Your life's over. Finish. Finito. Under the jail. Burnt at the stake. That's exactly what they would do.
Here's a good example of that. It's surprising to me that in Ghislaine Maxwell's case, no other criminal charges was ever brought up against any of the people that she sold children to, right? But if you're inconvenient to certain people, amazingly, certain child pornography gets on your computer and the FBI swoops in and takes you away. But they can't figure out who she sold kids to ever. We have no idea, no way whatsoever. But some random dude that happens to be inconvenient for the establishment ends up with a CP charge out of nowhere.
I have a theory on that, and this will also lend credence to why I think it's going to go down the way it is. 200 to nearly 260,000 children are cycled in and out or missing in CPS per year.
Mhm.
Okay, that's the low figure. If she was even remotely included in that 260,000, or at least had a hand, or had some government, dabbling with her and Epstein in that situation, you will never ever see any client list punished for it. Because if that happens, you have to have discovery, right?
Mhm.
For discovery, you have to make sure that you analyze who was involved and where all the kids went and came from.
Yep.
To do that, you have to have an audit.
Mm-hmm.
If you have an audit of CPS, the whole system crumbles right away, right? And they can't afford that. So look, Maxwell and Epstein to me was the small fry. They were the sacrificial lambs of this whole thing. They were the okay, so we got to give somebody the little okay, we've got to drop somebody in the pot to make them just at least stop looking at the big guns.
Yep.
Here's one. He's a fairly big one. Yeah, okay, we put him in there. And his accomplice, yeah. We won't say who they were around. We're just gonna drop the names that we think are the kingpins of it. They're not the kingpins.
Yeah.
No.
They were the small fries. I remember clearly, and people, I don't know if Americans know this or not, but people that are on the outside of the United States, you have to understand that the crown alone throughout throughout the globe was responsible for more child death, sacrificing, abuse, just in India alone, and they don't ever talk about that.
Nope.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you're just looking at another country compared to America, that's where a lot of the stuff is just kind of sitting. Look at the Vatican. People don't want to talk about the Vatican. They don't want to talk about the crown. Epstein is a small portion of this thing. We look at him as a big because a lot of Americans don't look outside the United States. We're so interfocused about what's, who this celebrity, that celebrity. Okay, but that celebrity is just one compared to the 50,000 outside of the Shikas and then the Shah, all them big names out there that traffic children like it's 40 going north. But we're so engulfed here. And yes, there's a problem here. And I'm not saying we shouldn't focus and clear it up here.
Yeah.
But they're not going to clear it up here because the outside is way bigger of a market. They're not going to shut this down. We are kind of like the trade route. We're just a passing trade route to these people.
Well, here's an historic example of that. Why do you think slavery lasted as long as it did? Because it was profitable. The same thing with child trafficking. It's profitable business. The reason why they do it is because it makes money. It's the same thing as why 36,000 children crossed the border this last year and disappeared. Right? We never talk about those kids, those immigrant kids that just made it to the border and then all of a sudden just went poof. They were put on planes in the middle of the night and taken to all over the place, but they have no idea where they are or who they are. They just disappeared. Same thing with did they ever find the Maui kids?
No.
Yeah. All the victims of that giant fire that happened miraculously that nobody cares about now. Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is, what people have to understand is that this is something that's been going on for a very long time, modern time, within America. I'm speaking within, or even within the world. And I think at the very top, you probably have the church or something. I would think like the Catholic Church and all this. 'Cause a lot of these orphanages are tied to some type of religious organization, if you think about it. But, back in the day, what they used to do, they created CPS, or Child Protective Services. So what they used to do, they used to go to these families and remove their children from the homes. And then when the parents tried to fight it, back then when we had insane asylums, they used to say the parents were crazy. So they used to throw these parents into these insane asylums, take these kids from the home, put them in an orphanage, and then remove them and move them somewhere else. A lot of these kids were disappearing, coming up missing, and everybody was wondering how all these kids that are supposed to be some type of CPS protection are coming up missing. And if you look at the majority of the missing children in the world, as Marlon said, they're usually under CPS control, foster care, something like that. So then you start tying it all together. So where are they taking these kids? They just poof, disappear on the back of a milk carton and you don't hear about them anymore. Because these kids are taken exactly for what Epstein is doing, and including a lot of other countries that are involved. but we only see Epstein, like Marlon said. Epstein's at the bottom of the pyramid. At the top of the pyramid, there's probably some really, really big stuff. And if once we start getting those names at the top of this pyramid, it starts trickling back down, it's going to destroy so many people's reality. And I think, especially when it comes to Catholicism and the Catholic Church, I truly think that a lot of stuff's going to be tied to them. And it's just going to tear people up. Their whole reality is going to be destroyed.
This is a reality that people seem to gloss over in the fact in modern era. Slavery never went away. It just went further underground. It wasn't institutionally legal. Now it's just a black market thing. But there are more slaves in the world today than there ever was during chattel slavery that everybody wants to complain about. It is still happening today. There are still black folks being sold in Africa, and there's tons of children that are sold every single day as slaves. But we don't care about those. It's like one of those kind of dark joke I make. It's like, how do you prefer your kids? Either on a doctor's table or in a bomb. Like, which one do you want? Like, people don't care as long as it's certain scenarios. Like, I don't care if they get bombed. I don't care if they get aborted. It's the same thing. They're all dead kids, right? So, like, your morality only goes so far in this argument. Like, these are things we should all care about because children are the future. And we have these people like Bill Gates, mind you, who think there are too many people in this world.
Well, that's why they don't care, because they're not the future.
Yeah.
Bill Gates is.
And this is why they push things like abortion and all this, because it's psychological warfare. If you can put in people's mind that, they're not viable, children aren't viable, or however they term it, how kids aren't viable until they start breathing, whatever. They're not viable till they can do for themselves. It's easier for people to comprehend when kids come up missing. Oh yeah, it's just a kid. We got too many people in the world anyway. So,
to answer your question, 01, this is what you'll hear when people are talking. And this is what I mean by the big names that are all over and have the power. When you try to bring attention to something, they have the ability to sidetrack people with stuff they say is untrue or a lie. And how do they do it? They have the power of the media. And this is what they'll say. Claim thousands of children are missing following the wildfires. AP's assessment, false. Then they'll quantify it by saying lists compiled by the Maui police and the FBI contained the name of only one minor who was unaccounted for following the fires. One.
Only
So
one?
when they try to bring attention to something for it to be investigated, it's why I tell you, even if they drop the names redacted, made up, whatever names get dropped, you're going to see media outlets tell you blatantly that, oh, their name might have been there, but that doesn't mean they did anything. And that person is just going to come forward saying, I never did anything. And there will be no more investigation into it because those particular cases now closed. Why? Maxwell's in jail and Epstein is dead. They've tied up their loose ends already now. There's nothing more to investigate here. Okay, we'll give the crazy people what they want. Here are some names. Boom. What now? This is how they poke fun at us. Oh, we got your names. What you gonna do now? You can't do nothing with them names. You can harass them, but that's about it. You ain't gonna get nowhere with it because we're not listening to cases anymore. And so this has to go to a whole different level for us to get anything done, and it will not be through the courts. I'm telling you that now.
Yeah, that's a fact. And what you mentioned, about they'll tie a credible source to it, i.e. the FBI, police, whatever. Think about something that people deem credible. And people, since we've been brainwashed to think the FBI, police, and all these other entities are credible sources, people stop questioning it after they put something out like this out. Well, the FBI, they did their investigation. They only claimed that one. So I believe the FBI. They're this, that, and they're credible. Use your critical thinking. If you talk to the locals, when it comes to Maui, a lot of the locals were saying that children are missing. The locals, not some guy in some suit, not some guy standing in front of a camera that gets paid to lie to you. The local people weren't even allowed to go get their land. They weren't even allowed to film there. They weren't even allowed anywhere near that Burnside. Why? Because these powers to be knew that the truth
Would get out.
would come out, and
Yeah.
they have to silence the truth. So they put a talking head up there, feed them some information, and this is what they publish. It's all propaganda.
I wanted to share this clip. Remember, does everybody remember this one where Bill Gates had a certain something to say about Epstein?
Mm-mm.
You don't remember this? Okay, this is gonna be good. Here, let's all go down memory lane and
It was
remember.
reported at that time that you had a number of meetings with Jeffrey Epstein, who, when you met him 10 years ago, he was convicted of soliciting prostitution from minors. What did you know about him when you were meeting with him, as you've said yourself, in the hopes of raising money?
You know, I had dinners with him. I regret doing that. He had relationships with people he said, you know, would give to global health, which is a interest I have. You know, not nearly enough philanthropy goes in that direction. You know, those meetings were a mistake. They didn't result in what he purported, and I cut them off. You know, that goes back a long time ago now. There's, you know, so there's nothing new on that.
It was reported that you continued to meet with him over several years, and that, in other words, a number of meetings. What did you do when you found out about his background?
Well, and, you know, I've said I regretted having those dinners, and there's nothing, absolutely nothing new on that.
Is there a lesson for you, for anyone else looking at this?
Well, he's dead, so you know, in general, you always have to be careful. And you know, I'm very proud of what we've done in philanthropy.
That smile is what really gets me every time he says it.
Lesson for you, for anyone else looking at this?
Well, he's dead, so you know, in general, you always have to be careful.
You always have to be careful. That smile, he knows what happened.
Oh yeah.
There's no way you can convince me this guy doesn't know what happened.
Well, he's dead, so who cares?
Yeah.
Okay. Whoa. You know who else said something close to that?
Hillary.
The woman that was wearing that blue dress. What difference at this point does it make?
Yeah.
They're dead.
And
They're
you know,
dead.
if you watch body language, and you know, if you've studied body language, you can just look at him and tell he's lying.
Yeah.
You know, the looking off to the left, the fidgeting of the fingers, the anxiety's kicking in, where he's trying to figure out exactly what he's going to say. A comfortable person would have looked dead in camera and be like, yeah, you know, I messed up. And that was a long time ago. And once I figured out who he was, but he was like, yeah, that was a long philanthropy and all these big words, and he's dead. Wink, wink.
Money.
I mean,
Money,
if he had
money.
to resemble a comic book villain, billionaire, that was the moment you knew Bill Gates was an evil person.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, he is.
That was the moment, because that is some gangster thing. Like, you really think about it. It's
He's
like, well,
dead,
he's
yeah.
dead, and you have to be careful.
Oh, yeah.
You have to be careful.
You don't want to end up like him, do you?
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
you
You want to keep
gotta,
asking
don't
me
be
these
talking.
questions, woman? You know, that she stopped asking the questions right after he said that.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
She was done. She's like, "Oh, I
Yeah.
understand what you mean."
It
Yeah, I
was
could
probably
end up
like,
yeah.
he's probably like, he's dead. You gotta be careful.
Gotta be
She's like,
careful.
oh shit.
That sounds like something the Joker would say. You know, like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
come on, people. I'd look.
I mean, when you have all
Then-
the money in the world, what do you do with it?
What are you doing with it? The names, whether they're dumped or not. When I do want them dumped, trust me, we do. Because even if we can wake up one person to the fact that this is going on, that's fine. That's good.
Mhm.
One is plenty. We want more, but one is enough. If we can just wake up one or two souls with the list, perfect. But understand this, that list is now just a placating to people who want something from what happened.
Mhm.
This is not going to stop what they've been doing. The people that are behind it are still doing it. And a lot of them are still in public office. A lot of them still have Secret Service protection. And many of them still have international treaties that they're making to procure more kids. This is not going to stop.
Yeah.
I don't think this will ever stop. but we can make people more aware and not participate in certain events. We can easily do that. Maybe limit the reach, but let's just be honest, they have more money than we do. They have more reach than we do. They have more power than we do. And until we know how to get to the bigger up people, sometimes we'll just have to sit by, unfortunately, and see it happening and save who we can.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting situation, but we'll see what happened in the next 3 days. I think that list that's at 200 now, they say, will end up being probably about 75 by the time it's all said and done.
Yeah, 150 is the last thing I saw.
I don't think one. I think they'll see a half of that start complaining that their name shouldn't be on it, and they'll be approved.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, man, what people have to understand, when Marlon used that word awareness, right? The one thing that these powers that be fear is a conscious people, right? That are aware, that this is going on, that they're aware that these people are corrupt. That's what they're afraid of. Because if you can get 300 something million Americans aware of the stuff going on, these people know that they lose their power. An aware population is an ungovernable population. Because now you're aware of the things that's going on behind the scenes, and you're watching them and you're calling them out. Now people don't call them out. They just go on about their day and watch their next reality show. They don't care. So spread awareness. That's the goal. The goal isn't to get someone to think like you, because that's never the goal, because that's up to you. The goal is plant a seed. If you could plant a seed to get people to think and research it themselves, just plant the seed. Just think. We're winning.
Yeah.
That's how we win. Spreading awareness, raising that consciousness, free thinking.
We don't have a topic Wednesday yet, but I think we'll have. There'll be plenty. The list might be out, and we can actually go through each name individually. Never know. We never know. So we'll keep that option open. But if you see something drop for Wednesday, make sure you have your notifications turned on, because when we do go live, we want to have another crowd like this on Wednesday. Get this new year with us really rolling. Okay, we need to get this podcast booming, get it moving, get it flipped on the head. So if you guys have topics, I did get a couple of topics, and I'll be passing them on to the group here over this weekend. But everyone knows I've had a lot on my plate, so this week I should be cleared up a little bit more. But we'll be back on Wednesday and on Friday.
Maybe
Bo will not be here on Friday, but we may have something massive on Saturday going on. Like, not going to tell you that until Wednesday, but there's something massive going to be happening on Saturday that only us will have feet on the ground for.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
only us will have feet on the ground.
So hopefully this year the Hooch is going to start moving to Tuesdays and Thursdays in between the Savage Patriots, and we're going to cover more of pop culture and some other stuff. We'll do some. I want to review Dave Chappelle's special, which came out last night. By the way, watched it. Brilliant stuff.
I need to watch it.
You need to watch it. We're going to cover it.
It's on Netflix.
It's on Netflix.
Okay,
you can watch it. He starts off.
His opening salvo was pretty flaming, man. That.
Oh yeah, it was harsh.
I'm gonna watch it tonight.
Funny stuff. I definitely recommend. So yeah, we'll be doing more of that same time as usual, 6:00 on Tuesdays and Thursdays in between the Savage Patriots.
That opening salvo he fired off with is gold.
You
ain't gonna find many that go do that, but it was good. That Andy Kaufman. Anyway, so
God, that was amazing.
Now I gotta watch it.
You have to watch it, man, for tomorrow.
Because he just slipped with the way what he did. I can't. You have, when you hear it, you'll be like, wow, that was.
It's Dave Chappelle in his
prime,
as one of his prime and best. Like it's honestly a good special.
It's funny. In any case, we'll be back on Wednesday, and we'll let you know the topic between now and then. So keep an eye out on the channel. And thank you again for all of last year, what you've done. And we're looking forward to this year being another one that we triple our group, maybe quadruple our group size, and really get some push going. So, Mr. Lee, can you please be the 2024 exit strategy for Savage Patriots?
Yes.
You're muted somehow. Let's see. Even Asians may not know how to operate electronics sometimes. Still muted. You've been muted the whole show. No, I'm just kidding. No. Yeah. I'll do it for you. I don't want to ring in the new year like this. I wanted to do it
Dang,
right.
this is bad. Dad.
He got to unplug his mic
Yeah,
and
that happens
replug his
sometimes.
mic in. Nope, dead.
No, check your settings in your mic settings.
He can't do it. He's
You
broken.
see,
He's
see,
broken.
not just because he's Asian does he know exactly what to do.
Something in his mic settings. If he
The
hits
math
the
isn't
settings
mathing.
button
Technology happens that way, though.
on the app, if you hit the settings button on StreamYard or go to your audio setting, make sure your mic is the mic it's using.
No button on your microphone.
No
Yeah,
center
make fun of him
button.
the whole
Is
time.
it blinking?
It's just Asian way of doing things. Hold on. No, it says you're on the your mic is muted on your end.
Check 1, 2.
There you
There
go.
you go.
There it is. He got it now.
Math Asian, so that
Oh, you're a math agent. My bad.
Oh, okay.
doesn't.
So you're not like piano Asian, you're math Asian? Or
Math
is that
Asian.
the same thing?
He's Asian.
Not Asian. So y'all need to like, share,
Amazing.
comment, subscribe to be able to get those numbers up. So go ahead and do it, y'all.
We out, people. We'll see you on Wednesday. Peace.
Oh.